Two Sims 4 developers, Jessica and Jill, alongside Rochella, did a live stream for The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits today that was over 90 minutes long, just showing off some new features in the expansion pack. I watched the whole thing so that you don't have to. Here's some of the highlights from that stream. So starting off, they showed off the 3 different variants of the diving board. So there's one high diving board, 2 low diving boards, and a water slide that's coming in this expansion pack. These are things that have been highly requested in The Sims 4 over the years. For whatever reason, now they're being added to the game. As your sim levels up in the diving skill, they can get better at their dives and jumps, but they can also fail at it too. So they showed examples of sims who were trying to do a dive and they end up belly flopping. So I'm glad to see there's some negative consequences for having lower skill level when using the diving board. Now, something I didn't expect that was actually really cool was the butterfly atrium. So we're getting a butterfly atrium in The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits. So you can either collect butterflies using the net or raise them from a caterpillar to a butterfly using the incubator and then display them in the atrium. They did confirm there's 14 different variations of butterflies, so you can collect them all. Now, we knew this one was coming based on the reveal trailer, but they showed off a little bit of the modular playgrounds and did confirm that modular playgrounds can be built with any sort of combinations. You can build them both indoors and outdoors. If you build them indoors, you will need a taller wall and taller ceiling and make them as big or as small as you want. Both children and adult age sims can use them, and they will interact with every aspect of the slide. So if you have slides, ramps, and different things attached to your modular playground, children and adult age sims will interact with that. They also showed off a little bit about imaginary friends, just confirming that only your sim who has developed a relationship with the imaginary friend can see it. For everyone else, it just looks like a doll on the floor. I thought that was very interesting. I think that was the same as how it was in The Sims 3, but don't quote me on that. They also showed off the full Create a Getaways menu. So to get started, you go into the calendar and then scroll down to the bottom on the left side to create a getaway. So it's the same way you would create events, birthdays, weddings in The Sims 4. You get to choose any location you want. It can be a residential lot, it can be a community lot, or a custom venue lot to host the getaway. You get to choose the number of days that you like it to be, if it's reoccurring, what time it starts, and what time it ends. On the next screen, you'll get to choose the roles and the schedule. There are already some pre-made roles and schedules set up. So for example, in this live stream, they were showing off a kids camp, which already had pre-made roles and a schedule, but you can customize those to change it or add to it at any point. You also can set the role outfits, which is based on what category. Is it everyday, formal, pajamas, like that, the dress code, the color, things like that. You can also set up to 5 rules. Getaways can be updated midway through. So if you're on a getaway and you realize the schedule's too tight or you want to change the schedule, you can do that as well without having to cancel the getaway and create a new one. They highlighted the archery skill, which can be done by all ages, kids and up. However, they did show that camp directors and camp counselors will autonomously try to mentor children's sims who are learning how to do archery. I thought that was a great example of the mentorship skill. I know that was a base game update that came before Businesses and Hobbies, that you can mentor other sims for free. So I'm glad that that's coming back and be, some cross-pack play here in The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits. They also showed off the childhood and formative challenges. So these are challenges that will help form your child going forward and lead to formative moments. So some of these challenges can be discovered by clicking on different objects, and some of these challenges will come as suggestions in the aspiration panel. So for example, if your sim clicks on the diving board, they may see the be comfortable with water formative challenge, which will have your sim do various tasks like want to learn how to be the best diver ever. Or if you click on the archery board, you'll have the possibility of getting the Master Archery Formative Challenge, which will have your sim trying to unlock the highest level bow in the archery skill. There are also other formative challenges that came up as a suggestion in the aspiration panel called Think of Others, Learn from the Past, and Have the Best Imaginary Friend Ever. So I think it's cool that the formative challenges are going to help your sim kind of bridge the gap between childhood and adulthood. The way they described it in the live stream is that as your sim completes these formative challenges, it will affect how they feel as a teen and forward. So It may give them boosts in future careers. It may give them boosts in relationships. It may help them maintain friendships longer. So there's supposed to be benefits to these formative challenges. They didn't have enough time to show us all of that in the live stream, though. They also showed off the paper crafts, which is very creative. So no longer attached to the drawing table or the activities table. This can be placed on any surface. So it's kind of free to move around or put in the inventory. And you can craft different paper objects depending on the level of skill. Things like origami, fortune tellers, paper mache, cards, etc. There's also an opportunity to get the Be Crafty formative challenge if you click on the paper crafts object. Adult Sims can also make paper crafts, which I thought was cute and helpful. I like that it's nothing locked specifically to children. A lot of the paper crafts are also interactable. So for example, if you make paper origami butterflies, you could decorate your wall with it. So that was kind of nice. And you can also gift it to other Sims. They didn't show it off in the live stream, but they said adult Sims can make romantic cards for each other, which might be cross-play with Love Day if you have seasons. Back to the imaginary friend. If you have a high enough relationship with doll, you have enough creative skill, and you meet some other requirements, you can ask the doll to become an imaginary friend. They still will only be visible to the Sim that has a relationship with them. There are new childhood sentiments. Now, sentiments originally came with the Sims 4 Snowy Escape, but these sentiments are specifically for children. And so they showed off a couple of those, like adding to the friend group and bosom buddies. There's also a new relationship type called imaginary friend. Now, these childhood sentiments are unique to this pack only. I'm sure there's going to be more than 2. That's just the 2 they showed off in the live stream. They also really quickly went over the blender. So teens and up can use the blender, which is a new feature in this pack. There are certain effects that you can benefit from or suffer from depending on the smoothie. So in a later clip, they showed the Purge sequence smoothie, which gave the Sim a scared moodlet and had him have bathroom problems where he had to keep going to the bathroom. But they didn't go too deep into the blender, so it's something we may have to explore on our own. They also briefly showed off the list of all the activities that each role can do, so you can pause the video here if you want to scroll through those. They did show off the kayaking and the view of the ocean and lake. It's absolutely gorgeous. Even though kayaking is still only a solo activity, each kayak only holds one person at a time. Now, they went back and showed off a potential rule for a getaway called Player's Choice Elimination. The elimination takes place every day at 11 a.m. I can't remember exactly what the criteria was, but it's interesting to see that you can do some sort of Love Island, Survivor, like game show style getaway if that's how you want to do it. And then finally, they showed off the spin bike and the ability to join group exercise classes or hire someone to lead a group exercise class on these cardio bikes. I will say overall with the live stream, it was pretty smooth. I didn't notice any glitches or problems. It didn't seem like they cut the camera away to hide something that wasn't working. I also like this format with the SimTuber kind of taking the reins of the video and then the other 2 producers just explaining the features. It made it more exciting and easy to understand because SimTubers know how to keep the video interesting and what content Simmers want to see. So Rochella asked some great questions that gave us even more details that maybe the producers wouldn't have answered otherwise. Overall, I think the live stream made me more excited for the new expansion pack, which comes out on October 2nd. The only things they didn't really cover that I would have appreciated is create a sim and then how to make a custom venue. But I do appreciate the level of detail we saw so far. Children Age Sims have so much coming in this expansion pack, and I know they're an age group that has been severely neglected. Let me know in the comments below if you watched the live stream and what did you think of the expansion pack so far.